Welcome, everybody. We are back again for another All Elite Murder Theater podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We're glad that you are. We're starting to slowly get this built up. Want to say hi to everybody. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, man. How are you guys?
We're doing good. How about you, Tammy? How are you?
I am wonderful. I am sunny. Let's talk about AEW wrestling.
There we go. So there is, of course, as always, a lot to talk about. We had quite a week this week. We had Dynamite, we had Rampage, and then we had the Battle of the Belts. The Battle of the Belts, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of comments on. I've been reading the rags on that and what's been going on and how people's opinions are, but I guess we'll get into that. That was a strange one. I would say this is probably the strangest week in AEW as far as how things were rolling, how storylines were rolling. I'm not sure if, there's more to this COVID thing that's going on in AEW than meets the eye, which is quite possible. But before we get into that, we want to touch on the Dark and Dark Elevation. Again, we were lucky enough to be there for this taping that they showed. So we got to see that live, and we also got to recap that again. But let's go around real quick and do Dark and Dark Elevation so that we can get right into the other matches so that we don't have a 4-hour podcast instead of a 2-hour podcast. So we'll keep it short and sweet. So again, Dark Elevation. Let's talk about, we're going to start with Chris. Best new talent. Who did you think was the new best talent on that show?
All right. So I yield my time on that question.
Okay. Tammy.
Oh my gosh, I feel like we're in Congress. Thank you.
All right.
Start the clock, sir.
Why are you
So
doing
Gentlemen, will start the clock.
Here's the thing.
I will take the time.
I've got 6 people, right? None of them were like super boss for me. It's Sky Blue, Troy Hollywood, Jake Atlas, Mike Orlando, Megan Bain, and Valentina Rossi. The 6 of them, 6, 7, maybe, I don't know. I was into all of them. Mike Orlando in particular, because he reminded me of Adam Bomb back in the day. Megan Bain was super cool. I liked her entrance. She seems really unique. But I mean, nothing performance-wise really jumped out. So
there you go. Tammy, go ahead. What's your best new talent?
Is this the same week we had Hollywood too?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I liked Hollywood, but I thought he didn't get my vote for this week. My 2 vote, and I like a lot of the people that Chris mentioned too, but we've seen them before. So I was thinking more of people I haven't seen before, even though they're new talent and they're on Dark. So I love like a lot of the people like Rossi and people like that Chris mentioned. But for me, I thought I loved Rolando. Rolando was exhilarating. I want to see Rolando every week. So I really liked the Rolando Perez, Austin Green, and Donnie Primetime against the Gun Club. I thought they were super fun. Was one of them the mini Wardlow? Who's that? That was, I remember somebody like a mini Wardlow this week too, but I don't know if that was on their team. I think
that would have been one of those 3 guys. I don't know which one's which, but one of them was very big and he looked kind of out of place next to the other 2.
That was
really Austin Green.
That was Austin Green.
Yeah, I think that was Austin Green. I would love to see more of them. So they stood out for me. And then Megan Bain was so fun. I loved the whole gimmick, but she could wrestle too when she got in. And I would love to see her back. She has a fully fleshed character that could be a lot of fun. It was just, I really liked Dark and Dark Elevation these weeks. I enjoyed it quite a bit, actually. So those are my 2 ones that I would do is I would say Megan Bain. I love the whole Greek goddess gimmick. She was fierce to back up the look, which I think is important. You can't, but then she also matched up against Layla Gray, who I think is astounding and should be signed. So that was kind of like one of my favorite matches this week. It was a lot of fun. Layla's always a professional. She should definitely be signed. And I think Megan should be too. And that Rolando, we were there live. So we saw Rolando. So we saw a lot of these people live and a lot of them have more personality than you see. And Rolando got the crowd pumped. Like he was a great hype man. He was like pumping us up and then when he got in, he flew around and he was just unique and fun. So that's my answer for that question this week.
With me on the new talent, I definitely think Megan Bayne was there. I think that she's super strong. I think she'd have a great matchup between Statlander or Jamie Hayter or any of the powerhouses that are in the women's division of AEW. She's got a great gimmick. She's probably one of the a few aside from Abaddon that is on Dark that has a gimmick like that. You know, not everybody kind of has their music and has their intro and then they come out, but they don't have a big to do. Like, you know, you see the Lucha Brothers, they have a big to do. The Bucks have a big to do. Cody Rhodes has a big to do. Megan Bayne's got that, which is really cool. So
it's presentation.
Yeah. I mean, the presentation's cool. It gets you like, you know, it's like, wow, okay, who's this? You know, because we were like, that's what we were when she came rolling out with those two ladies in tow. Me and Tammy were like, who's this person? We're like, what's I mean, and they're like really going for it, man, which was really cool. You know, so I thought that was really awesome, and I'm very excited to see her wrestle some more. And you know, okay, Marina Shafir was in there again, so she's one of my top ones. So you know, those were the two standouts for me. Those are definitely the two standouts for me. So, but yeah, so hopefully we'll see them again and we'll go from there. So, Chris, number 2, what was the storyline that pushed everything?
I didn't have one.
Okay.
I did not feel like there was a single storyline that really went anywhere. Other than maybe the Statlander Layla Hirsch thing. But
That's
even
right.
that was kind of sloppy almost. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really have one.
Right. There wasn't much. Go ahead, Tammy. What did you think?
I agree with Chris. If there was going to be something that was the only thing that spoke to a larger storyline. I think we've already seen it coming a little bit, but I feel like it really cemented it. So it's definitely a storyline push. And if you're into the storyline and the drama, and you don't watch Dark and Dark Elevation, I think it's important to know about that one element, which is why we have that question here. So if somebody didn't catch up on it and they're just listening to us, I would definitely say that Layla tagged herself in basically when she shouldn't have. And her and Statlander are definitely coming up with a rivalry. They're not working together as teammates, and it's just setting up that they're going to go against each other. I love Legit, and I like Statlander, so it's a lot of fun, but all of these things, like I feel like we see this in different versions with a lot of people. And I feel like creativity is not hard to come by. I don't know why it's so hard, but a little bit more creativity with developing rivals is a tip I'd give to whoever's writing the storylines is we keep seeing this, somebody tags themselves in. I've seen like different versions and I've been in this in less than a year. You know what? There's so many creative ideas you could come up with other than that to create rivalries. So I hope that they do better with that. But that definitely pushed it. That's my answer for that.
I agree. I think that was probably the only storyline push that I saw that night. I think it's we're going to see more and more of that develop, which is kind of cool. Hopefully we see some other lady wrestlers, you know, throw on some tag teams on that and kind of, you know, who's legit going to team up with, because she really doesn't have an island right now, if you really think about that. So yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole ton that really pushed the story. So that was, you know, that's all I really had for that. All right. Best match of Dark and Dark Elevation, Chris. What did you think?
For me, it was Elevation, the Jay Lethal Hollywood match. That was great. I love Jay Lethal. I love that he's still getting a good reaction. Even though probably a lot of AEW fans don't necessarily know who he is, because his heyday was, you know, maybe 10 years ago or more. And he's kind of lost some of his steam over in Ring of Honor or whatever. He was a staple over there. And honestly, I really want to see like the Black Machismo character. I want to see the Ric Flair character. I want to see all of his impression stuff come through, because that's where he really shines as this like crazy off the wall, like almost multiple personality kind of guy. But Troy Hollywood was fantastic, I thought, in this match. He was really clever. There was a lot of psychology there. It was good. And honestly, I You guys were a lot more stoked about this than me. I didn't really vibe on Elevation and Dark this week. There just wasn't enough there for me.
Okay. What'd you think, Tammy? What's yours? What was your favorite match?
So we were there for those shows, and maybe that's why we have a different feeling about it, because we were there for the live energy, and you do see a tiny bit more from everybody. I think, like, I see the new talent really working in the crowd and showing their personality, where you don't really see their intros and things like that on TV. And so I felt that made a difference. I feel like it's like a band. Sometimes you see them live and you have a completely different outlook. And I feel like it's similar with some of these wrestlers. When you're there and your live energy, you get to see the things that they don't cut away from. So that's probably why we feel differently. I have a couple. I agree with Chris, actually. The Jay Lethal Hollywood, even when we were there, I think you'll remember, Rafe, how I said how much I liked that. I enjoyed Hollywood so much. And Hollywood in person is even more charismatic. Both of them are. And there was so much love in the crowd for both of them, and especially Hollywood. And so that was really exciting, because I don't think we'd ever seen Hollywood before.
Nope, that was the first time.
It was really exciting. And I would say honorable mention for the Marina Shafir Valentina Rossi match. That was really brutal, and I liked that. I liked the brutality of that match a lot, which I don't feel like I got as much during the main matches. And then I had another one starred. Really looking through real quick.
While you're looking for that, I want to say Valentina Rossi, 2 nights in a row. So she had 2 matches. She had one on Elevation and one on Dark. That girl can sell like nobody's business. She makes everybody look good. Love her.
They got to get rid of the soft thing, though. I think it cheapens her. That's that Italian stereotype. She needs to be like something more.
That might be her idea, though.
Huh? It might be, but I'm just saying.
She might have come up with that.
She probably did. And, we all have to be, it's something. It's definitely, I remember it. So I'll give her credit for that. But I think she's fiercer than cooking the sauce, just like Red Velvet's fiercer than stirring up some cake batter for Red Velvet cake, because that's what I took away from that. So anyways, I think I like the Jake Atlas versus Serpentico just because it was unique and interesting. And that was the first time we had seen Jake. And when he came out with his sparkles, I was all about the sparkles. I want to vest like that. I thought it was so cool. He's very athletic, and Serpentico confuses me sometimes. I guess it's just because I'm a dominant personality and he doesn't seem to be one. He allows himself to be used by Luther. So I think I have triggers surrounding that, like, dude, be your own person, because he's very talented. So I think I kind of have these issues around him when he's, he needs someone to push his head in and headbutt him and use him as a ram or something like that. And I would like, it's kind of cool. It's interesting. So, but I like to see people that are their own people and that don't rely on their teammate to be a star. And he definitely has everything. But he definitely did the whole headbutt thing, but we kind of expect that too. And it's kind of interesting. So I don't really know where I'm going with my opinion on this, but
the headbutt thing scares me.
It's mixed, which is a good thing. When you don't know how you feel about something, I think you're in a great place.
Yeah.
For me, I would say I really liked the Hobbs Cabana match. I thought that was a lot of fun. The Jamie Hayter match, of course, I'm biased, but she was brutal.
She's flawless, man. She's absolutely flawless.
She sells the hits. She throws everybody around, man. She really has the experience that a lot of the other ladies don't have, and you can see that when we go into this other match, that tag team match that she had. That was one of her best on Dynamite. But she was just brutal. I thought Maddie Renkowski knee almost flipped out of her body there. I saw that live and chills went down my spine. I don't know how that girl did not rip her knee apart. So those two were the highlights for me. And of course,
that's true.
I really liked the Jay Lethal one too. That was a lot of fun. But I would have to say the Hobbs Cabana, because there was you don't expect it, but Cabana is an almost equal size to Hobbs.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
And for a big man like him, he can flip off the ropes, man. So he's agile. So that was a lot of fun and very entertaining because he's kind of silly. And so that was a good break in all of
But
it.
he's a bad dude, man.
He is,
Colt
man.
Cabana's no joke.
He's great. He's great. But I mean, I really thought all the matches had something that were very entertaining to them. Just some of them stuck out more than the others. So
That's true.
and I think that AEW has got a good roster. And I just hope that they use these people that we see and they see what we see and pull those people in to like do more and more stuff. So hopefully that's going to be the vibe on that. So that takes care of Dark Elevation. Let's start moving on to Dynamite. Dynamite. Ooh, I don't even know where to start. We're going to start with you, Chris. The first match of the night. I mean, I don't know how they're going to up their game on this. It was Hangman Adam defends against Bryan Danielson.
Listen, this was huge, monumental. Bryan Danielson getting his first loss. Hangman getting his first real win in a title defense. I mean, massive implications for the future. I don't think we'll see these two go at it again. This was very decisive, in my opinion.
I hope so.
I think so too. I think that all the moves were great. It wasn't, I mean, technically it was a great match. Everything seemed to go seemed like they planned on doing. I mean, Hangman, he's got just as much cardio as Danielson does. The Crimson masks were great, especially with Danielson. It showed how Hangman was able to counter a lot of Danielson's moves and contribute and take in account Danielson's experience, the way that they sold the match. And I mean, it's only January of 2022, but this could be, very well could be the match of the year. I mean, in my opinion, so far. I mean,
I remember thinking that last January, February about a couple matches too, like the earlier stuff that was going on last year. And then fast forward to now, and I don't even remember those versus the last 5 or 6 months of what's been going on. So if this is any taste of what the new year is going to be like, bring it on.
I mean, it was the perfect ending to that, if that is the ending to it. Obviously Danielson wants to be a champion and he's probably going to be at some point. But I mean, technically the match was great. Tammy, what's your opinion on that? Go ahead, Chris.
I want to see him go for Sammy's title.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be a great match.
Yeah, for sure. What's your thoughts,
Go ahead, Tammy?
Are you finished, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So there's a lot of things that I did not like about that night, but this was the shining gem for me. And as a person that has been in this for less than a year and only watches AEW, I have not the perspective that someone like Chris has. So somebody new, and I'm representing for all you new people because we want new people, right? So, but we don't have all this history. So when Danielson or Ruby or CM Punk come in, we don't have any relationship with them. So we don't know about how wonderful they are, their personality, their dramatic history, or anything like that. So I hate when they come in and everybody thinks they're wonderful and they win everything all the time. Because it's just like being resentful if you were in a family and some kid came in and started getting all the good stuff and you didn't get anything and you've been there the whole time. So it takes me longer I need a connection, I need that emotional connection. And I feel like Danielson has been bringing me along where he showed more of his personality. At first, it's like, okay, he's the great dragon. Everybody loves him. He's a super good wrestler. What an amazing match with him and Kenny Omega. Great, wonderful. But I saw no personality. And now I've saw this really cool heel side that is different than the other heels too, because it's like not a complete heel. Like he's not like a shit talker like MJF. It's more just like, I'm just a real badass and I can respect that.
Yeah.
And that's not neither here nor there as far as heel or face. I'm just a badass and I don't give a fuck. And we all know that I am a whimsical artist, but my alter ego doesn't give a fuck either. But I'm not mean. I don't pick on people, or anything like that. But I'll fuck you up if I have to. You know what I mean? Because for the greater good. So I get that. So this brought that for me, like to Danielson, the way that like they went together. I just loved it. And it would have been okay whoever won, but I did want to see Hangman have his title a little longer. And so here are my notes on this particular match. This is the only match I really liked of the night. So I had a lot of trauma of this night. So I'm thankful for it. I put, okay, we all know Tammy's notes are really scattered, and I'm just reading them as I wrote them in the moment.
That's what we want.
Okay, I'm just letting everyone know. And sometimes my handwriting isn't good because I have a little dysgraphia. But so I put Danielson working out? Question mark.
Oh, this is jumping jacks.
Hoping don't get drawn out. And then moonsault to nowhere, ended up working out. Hangman started strong, showing his moves. Danielson's headbutts gave me a headache. Wow, flipping outside the ring and landing on their feet. Best ever. Oh, snap. It came around. Bloody jumping jacks. Bloody headbutts. Wild man Page looking deranged. Oh, missed. Headbutt City. Brutal. Woohoo! Cowboy shit. Those are my notes.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what I got.
I really think we need to end that conversation on that match with that.
Hold on. I want to say one more thing.
All right, go ahead.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what this does to Danielson's personality. He's already unleashed this kind of what I love him for. He's already letting it out now, but this is going to push him to another level of pissed off. I feel sorry for anybody who he's in line with next. That's it.
I mean, I agreed.
I'm glad you added that, because now I'm going to be paying more attention to that too.
I mean, he's like a half shoot fighter. Like, he does not play in the ring. Like, when you go in with Danielson, you're gonna get hurt regardless. You're gonna feel it the next day, maybe even for the next week. And he expects that from his opponents as well. He's a tough dude. Nicest guy on earth, but Jesus Christ, that dude means business.
He does, absolutely. And I think that's why people love him so much, because he just comes in and he's a worker, and he just comes in and kills it, and it's great. I mean, I mean, entertaining as hell. That was an entertaining match. I mean, that was a pay-per-view match.
Yeah,
I mean, it really was. I mean, I would have paid for that match.
And it was a beautiful payoff to the draw. Like, I was extremely happy about it working out in the end, because it felt very finished. It felt meaningful.
Yeah, it definitely did. Definitely did.
I think Chris brings up a great point that I brought up but didn't put in my notes because I was writing them in the moment, but thought about later, was that we needed some sort of like final match where somebody won or lost.
Right.
Yeah.
We really did with Danielson, you know.
So now then, after that match, I don't know if that was when MJF came out, or we went right into the Malachi Black match.
So
I have notes on that.
We
had a segment there with the Acclaimed.
That's right. You want to take that, Chris? What?
So, I mean, basically they go backstage and the Acclaimed are there. They're talking about Darby Allin and Sting and that whole thing. It was okay. I am definitely on the line with the Acclaimed now. I'm into those guys. I'm digging the personalities. Whatever weirdness they had for me before seems to have dissipated. Caster is also improving with his stuff, even when it's not, I prefer him speaking rather than the lyrical stuff. But even with his, rap stuff now, it's definitely a lot better. Somebody put a birdie in his ear, and he's bringing it. So, I mean, it was a good segment, but I don't know that I'm necessarily excited to see either of them and Darby Allin and Sting together.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see how that match goes. We'll see, I mean, I think the Acclaimed are technically good wrestlers, man. I've seen them a bunch of times, and they got the moves. They know how to sell. They know how to give. I mean, so Definitely cool.
I just
on
hope there's
that.
chemistry there with them and that team, because it's
Yeah.
a very odd mix of styles.
It is, but every time I've seen a Darby Sting tag team match, it's never disappointed me. So
Never.
it's never
You're
disappointed me.
absolutely right.
I mean, they've always pulled it up and gone up another gear to make it entertaining. So I don't see that falling short. So I still think it's going to be really good. Now, Tammy, what was your thoughts on that promo with the Acclaim? Do you remember that?
What about the Jericho promo?
We'll get to that.
That's later on.
That's
Oh,
later
okay.
on. That's
I have
later on.
then I have nothing.
Okay, no problem.
I'm not weighing in on that.
And then after that, I believe that we got into the Malachi Black versus Pillman, right?
No, that was
Or-
way later. The next thing that happened after that segment was the MJF versus Shawn Dean match.
Oh, that's
Well,
right. Oh,
if
this
you can
whole-
call it that. But when Punk came out, which I was so excited for, and then MJF kind of ran away a little bit, and then
Yeah.
Punk got the DQ
right.
on MJF and gave him a start to the year with a losing record. I thought that was fantastic psychology. I've never seen it done that way before.
Mhm.
In this particular fashion. Now, yes, this has happened before, different storylines, whatever, different companies, but this felt like it meant something because AEW is so adamant about their statistics mattering.
Yes.
So and MJF, the look on his face, I mean, that said it all.
Oh yeah.
I felt bad for Shawn Dean for a second, but then
Right.
he realized he was getting the win. He's like, okay, I'll take a shitty GTS. I don't care.
Right. Exactly. No doubt. Well,
And it wasn't a good GTS either. It looked like
No.
shit.
It did look like shit. It was very poorly executed, but I can tell you that was a great way to pull in a storyline. I mean, that really was really cool, and to really piss off MJF. I mean,
We're getting this out of it too.
I know we got the war. Well, I got some theories on that. So, and I'll share those in a bit, but I really honestly think that since they are big on the stats and big on the records and big on the rankings, which they seem to be kind of loosey-goosey, because I'll talk about Scorpio Sky and how he should have got the shot at Sammy and the title match, but that's nor here nor there. But
I agree.
it was a very good way that they got MJF fired up to get him to push him more in that storyline. So I mean, I really like that.
I so thought he was gonna be like, "You want your match? You got it."
Right.
Then he pulled the Wardlow thing, and I was like, "Oh shit, CM
Well,
Punk and Wardlow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be something. Who's gonna come out of that?"
Well, I've got a theory on that. I'm gonna let Tammy speak on this on the MJF thing, and then I'm gonna go back to the Wardlow Punk thing real quick.
I don't have a lot to say. My notes just say super fun when CM Punk got MJF disqualified. This is a fun bit, very fun rivalry. Love this big back and forth. That's
Yeah,
what
it
really
is.
I had.
It's a cool back and forth. Now, as far as like the CM Punk Wardlow, I don't think they're going to spend a minute wrestling each other. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think that this is going to be something. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I don't think Wardlow's going to touch him. I think that something's going to happen and Wardlow's going to be like, I'm done with MJF. I think this is when he turns. And I think that CM Punk is going to start hanging out with Wardlow. But that's my theory.
I would love that. That's a cool
Wouldn't
theory.
that be cool?
That would be a cool theory.
Cool. I want more for Wardlow. I'm ready for this. They cannot be like dangling this any longer.
Right.
Let's do this.
2 reasons for
Wardlow
that.
deserves more. I want to see more from Wardlow. I would see him and CM Punk would be really interesting together.
Yeah, I think
Really
I think he says, I'll be your bodyguard, CM Punk, and then that's going to be the gig, because I don't think CM Punk wants to get power slammed by Wardlow.
Hell no.
At all.
Yeah.
So,
But fuck being somebody's bodyguard. He needs to be his own man.
well, then I think that CM Punk will be like, no, man, you're an equal of mine. We're going to do this together. I think that's going to be how the storyline goes. Well, we'll see. I don't think they're going to wrestle a minute. That's what I think.
I'm thinking there's actually going to be a DQ, and I think MJF's going to come out and cause some shit.
Interesting.
We shall see.
When is this happening?
Wednesday.
Okay.
So before we move on, I want to say one thing, because there was some very specific jabs thrown, and I'm going to say it, WWE. this whole thing MJF's been pushing with, he's got Bruce Pritchard on speed dial and all this bullshit. And CM Punk told him, go ahead, fuck off then.
Right.
I was like, yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah,
Go
that
ahead.
was
We'll
cool.
be buried in an hour. We will never see you again. Try it. But
That
then
was great.
MJF with the whole bidding war of 2024, he's not going anywhere, dude, ever. Unless somebody offers him a fat fucking check because he knows he's got it made.
Yeah.
He does. He knows he's one of the stars of AEW. He'll never be a star like that in WWE.
No, he'll never be a star like this anywhere, I don't think. I don't think any other company would appreciate his talent and give him as much time as he's getting because he is gold,
Yeah.
but it's not like he's a ratings guy. Like people don't tune in for him necessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm. That's very true.
Just
So,
my
all right.
thoughts.
Yeah, well, that's going to be fun. I can't wait to see that. But like I said, I don't think CM Punk, I don't think they're going to touch one another in that ring. I think something's going to happen. I don't know exactly what yet, but I think something's going to happen and we're going to go from there. So then I think at this point we get to the Malachi Black versus Pillman wrestling. Right?
So we went from that match. There was a Cody segment, which was wasted because the fucking match
obviously.
didn't even happen.
Right.
And then Chris Jericho had a little segment where he came out and was talking.
Oh, that's right.
He was confronted by 2.0. There was like a brawl. Kingston came out. That was a whole thing. And then there was a segment with Adam Cole challenging Jake Atlas.
That's correct.
Which subsequently, I believe, actually ended in an injury on that match, but we'll talk about that later.
Mhm.
And then we got to Wardlow versus Antonio Zimbrano.
That's true. That's true. Yep. And
there was some gentle turn teases in there, I think. It was interesting. Wardlow, I think what was it, 5 power bombs?
at least.
He really drew it out this time, and Sean Spears was doing his normal shtick. And I thought, okay, this is the one. This is like the 3rd or 4th week in a row where I'm like, this is when it's gonna happen.
No, it's annoying.
Nope.
And then they were walking up the ramp, and Sean goes to throw him a handshake or a high five or whatever, and Wardlow went ahead for it. And I was like, damn it, something happened, please.
I know.
I'm so sick of this shit.
That's why I think it's going to be the CM Punk match. That's why I think that's when it's going to be.
So, I mean, that was a squash, really, again, and it was sort of just more building. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to that before because after that we had the women's match.
Do not. So let's move on. I don't have any more to that. I want to talk about that when that actually occurs. So.
Well, I really
right.
liked the Chris Jericho promo with 2.0. I thought it really pushed a storyline. It was a great.
I fucking love Chris Jericho. I'm so glad to see him back.
That was a good promo. With Wardlow, it's just the same shit every week. We're just ready for him to turn.
Yep.
That's all I ever will have to say until he turns.
Yep.
All right. So I thought that Malachi Black was the next match. No, am I wrong?
So that actually
was the 3rd match.
That was Rampage, wasn't it?
No.
Rampage, I thought was Adam Cole and Jake Atlas.
Oh, no. Okay, so we had the women's match, then there was a Serena Deeb segment, and then the Malachi Black Pillman thing.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so Serena Deeb. We could
So wait. Let's rewind to this
Okay.
fucking Jade Cargill Ruby Soho match.
Oh
All right.
God.
Can we talk about this, please?
Okay.
Oh my God. Yes.
But let me preface this by this. I give all of these wrestlers credit for wrestling and doing what they do and putting themselves on the line
Yeah.
like this.
You can say that when it's your turn, Rafe. It's
I will.
Chris's turn now.
Go ahead, Chris.
Is it? It doesn't have to be my turn. I don't have to go first.
It's your
Okay.
turn.
It's your turn, buddy.
I don't know how you guys felt about this really specifically, but I was super disappointed. I did not see this coming. They'd been pushing Soho so hard, and I love her so much. I really thought she was going to be the first champ. The match was sloppy. Cargill was slow. She looked like she didn't know what was going on. Granted, she's only been doing this for however long, 6-7 months, something like that. But the end bit, like the match, it wasn't that great for me. The ending, though, once she did win and her daughter came out and all that, it felt very sweet. It was a good moment. I started like at the end, I was like, okay, good for you. All right, nice. And then again after that, I was like, man, why the fuck? I don't understand this booking shit. It doesn't make sense to me. There was no reason for Jade Cargill to beat Ruby Soho in this manner. I don't see how it benefits anybody, anyone. Ruby looks like shit. Jade was sloppy. She seems like a placeholder champion. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's all I can say.
Tammy, your thoughts, and then I'll chime in.
Well, I have to agree with my cuz here on this. Like, I was super disappointed, and we all know I love Jade. So I have to preface that I feel that she has champion quality, but not yet. I feel like
not yet, though. Exactly.
Yes, she needed more time and energy. I definitely wanted to see her doing more matches, but I feel like we see the same move from her every week is what she's comfortable with, and she hasn't ventured outside of that, where all the other champions are good at multiple styles. And so I have my notes, which aren't all terrible, but so I put Jade looked like a goddess. So I write this down as things are happening. So I don't know what the results are going to be as I write notes. I really just scribble things. You can ask Rafe why while we watch it, I just try to like in between write things. So I put Jake looked like a goddess, which she does. I think she's gorgeous, beautiful, a specimen of a human. Love her. Ruby's jacket was fun. I loved God Save That Bitch. Like, that was so fun. I like to also bring up what they wear because somebody designs that and they think about that, and I think it should get some talk. Big distraction with the Thunder Rosa and Martinez involvement. It was fun, but it was a big distraction. They were doing a lot of back and forth, attempting to look like they were fighting hard, but not the skill I wanted to see from Jade. There just wasn't that skill. It's an insult to Thunder Rosa, I think. I really do. And I think if you think about, this is the thing, is like who you lose to like says a lot about people, than the people that you wrestled prior, because Thunder Rosa is top quality.
Well, keep in mind,
if you're going to win or lose against Thunder Rosa, your next matches have to be at more than a Thunder Rosa caliber. You know what I mean?
But she won cheap. She won cheap on that.
Regardless, it's still an insult, I think. And so I was not thrilled, and I was really disappointed. And I hate to be disappointed because I really am a Jade fan. But I am a Jade fan with common sense of looking around at the talent and the people that you're fighting with. In order to believe in someone, you want to see them have their best. And, I know you probably have a lot to say about this, Rafe, so I won't take some of the comments you made towards me. I'll let you own those yourself. But I agree with a lot of the things you said. There was just a lot of unhelp, that people could see, so you can elaborate on that. So it just feels like, and this is what I sum up, and we have more to discuss about this week, but I feel like the titles were cheapened in many ways, starting with this one this week. This was not a good week for me, for AEW. I was disappointed. I want these titles to mean something. This isn't just a scripted thing. I love the drama. We all know, we talk about the drama here, but the skill is what makes it special, is that if you win, you deserve to win because you put in the time, the energy, and effort, and you have the skill. Hangman has the skill. All the other champions, they have the skill. Whether we like their characters or not, they have the skill to be there. And Jade has the potential to have the skill, but doesn't have it yet. And it makes this title a little less meaningful. And that kind of sucks. And
it's not even just skill either. Right now, currently, every champion in AEW has tenure. They've all been there since the beginning, busting their asses. If anybody's going to win, it should be somebody that's been in the business for a long time. If you're going to take somebody out of the title picture that's been there from the beginning, it better be somebody who's got some fucking chops.
Good point.
I
agree. I agree with that point 1,000%.
Here's what's going to happen. Thunder Rosa is going to beat Britt Baker. We'll see that. I'm telling you,
but
right.
It doesn't matter now, Rafe. At this point, it's still cheapened.
Let me have my say on this. Jade Cargill not ready not ready to be the champion, does not have enough skill set yet. She's going to be great one day. Going to be great
Mhm.
one day. Number two, you put her kid in her hand, she's not a heel anymore. She's not a heel
That's
anymore.
true.
That's very
Good
true.
point.
Very true.
I mean, it's wonderful that she's got her kid there, and that's great. Now, are they trying to not turn her heel? That's crappy because she comes out with that shithead lawyer that nobody likes, that is now MJF's lawyer. And we look at this, blows my storyline for her. She's no longer a
Yeah.
heel at this point. So where do we go from
Such a
that?
good point.
Right? That's
Mhm.
the way I feel about that whole situation with the kid. And it's wonderful. You know, you bring your kids, it's great. But if we want to keep the kayfabe, you want to keep the heelness to it, I don't think that necessarily works. Ruby didn't have a bad match. She had a bad partner. Okay. Ruby did every possible thing she could to try to lift that match up to the point where the finishing move, you could see Ruby whispering to Jade on how to not break her neck, throwing her down on that ground.
Not just then, too. It happened
No.
several times during the match.
Several.
Ruby carried that whole fucking thing. She coached her through the whole match
The
and had
whole
to
match.
keep reminding her shit.
Yes. Ruby is a pro, and she will always be a pro, and she deserves much better than what she's getting right now. And it's great that she's paying her dues and going through the system because she is new, but she's a pro. She is one of the top 5 of the women's wrestlers in AEW, period.
True.
And I don't think Jade's in that top 5. I think she will eventually be in that top 5. And I think the problem is what they did with her. They messed up her storyline. They had her come into every match, had a 3-minute match, and then she rolls out. Come in, 3-minute match, she rolls out. She had barely anybody that pushed her past the limit, barely anybody to take her into the deep waters. Nothing happened as far as that's concerned. She had very few matches like that. She needed about 4 or 5 more of those before I would have been convinced that she could win the TBS title on that.
That's actually a really interesting point because they went that direction with her repeatedly over and over and over again. If they were going to continue that and she was going to win this match, it should have been a squash. She should have went out there and beat the shit out of Ruby and had it in under 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, and
because then it would
done.
have felt believable, right?
Yes.
But instead, we had this long, drawn-out shit show, and it was terrible.
It was not good.
So disappointing. I always say she's the Wardlow of the women's division.
But then she needs to be that all the time.
Yes. You made a great point on that. I agree.
She shouldn't be struggling against a tiny, fast little chick. She should be manhandling her and beating the shit out of her. Period.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly how I feel. And
so discouraging.
That was a little disappointing. We'll see how that goes.
A little.
It was a little disappointing.
So disappointing.
It was very disappointing.
AEW, if you ever listen to this podcast, we are disappointed. We need you to do better. If you need someone to help you write some storylines, I think we could come up with some better than whoever you're paying to come up with it, because that wasn't cool.
No, I'm going to disagree with that one.
Okay, I'll speak for myself.
All right. So let's get to the next match. And I believe this one's the Malachi Black match, right?
Let's see. We hit the TV. Well, we had the Serena Deeb segment, which quite frankly, we don't even have to fucking talk about it. I thought the whole program with her and Sheeta was over. Apparently it's fucking not. Whatever. I'm ready to move the fuck on. So then we got Malachi and Pillman.
Right. So then we got Malachi and Pillman. Julia comes out with the patch on her eye.
What the fuck was that? We have her off TV for like a month, and then she just comes out with the patch. Like, what? Are you serious? Of all the ways to end that whole program?
I know. I know. We were all just like, what?
I'm sorry. I was ready to jump on this one. You guys, go ahead. Say what you were saying.
Oh
no, you go.
It's your shot. You're going first.
Your turn, anyways.
Yeah.
So I have to say, from here on out, almost everything I say is going to be criticism.
We're okay with that.
That's fine.
From this point on, I wasn't happy with anything on Dynamite, Rampage, or the fucking whatever the shit that was last night. Listen. They wasted this Julia Hart program. They fucking wasted it. They had it right there. They had it. They could have made magic with this shit. I cannot believe that Malachi Black said, yeah, that sounds cool. Just have her come out with the eye patch and I'll be kind of scary at the end and then nothing will fucking happen. Okay, cool. Sounds great. Sign me up. What the fuck? Seriously? Seriously?
Yeah,
They
I don't
had it
know.
all there, man. They could have had her turn crazy. She could have lost her mind. She could have been like half dead in the hospital. No. Instead, she's just fucking sad. She's sad now.
She's Jack Sparrow.
What the fuck? Are you serious?
I know.
Oh my God. The match itself was good.
It was a good match. It was.
Pillman looked great.
He did.
Malachi made him look fantastic.
Absolutely.
I think they had maybe the best match of the second half of this.
Yes.
It was very entertaining.
Yes.
Disappointing, but entertaining. I expected a lot more. I thought we were going to get a debut. Rafe, I'm sure you have something to say about that.
Oh.
And then it progressed. The whole thing when the Lucha Brothers came out, man, it was like, oh, well, here we go. Nope. I feel like that's happened way too much in AEW lately. They're teasing us. Nope, sorry. Not fucking today. Okay, maybe never, I guess. I don't fucking know. That's it. That's all I have for that.
Tammy, go ahead. I mean, let's hear what you have to say.
I don't know how to follow that up.
That's tough.
I mean, I have so much agreement with that. I don't know what I can add that's irrelevant because I feel the same way. I didn't understand. I was expecting so much more. We kept thinking who is this person called? Something King?
Brody King
was gonna come. I thought there was gonna be 2 new members of House of Black, and I just assumed Julia would be one because we haven't seen her in a while. You know what? This storytelling isn't this hard, people. It's really not. I mean, it's really not. It really isn't. Listen to people. Listen, if you're gonna listen to the numbers, listen to the voices of the people that are giving you the numbers. So yes, so my notes weren't too critical because again, they're in the moment. I don't know what's happening. So it was like Pillman starting fast and furious. Pillman did a great with his normal moves and hard work. Normal moves and hard work. I'm not really sure what that means, but that's what I put. But he messed up on the move and left it to Malachi to win. Malachi transports himself, and then the Lucha Brothers come out. And I just I don't know. I'm feeling like Chris. I had a hard time. I'm feeling emotionally drained from this week. I enjoy this so much, but there's a lot of stress on a lot of levels. When you're invested to the level that I've become in such a short period of time, how has this happened? I don't know, but I'm super invested, and I just feel like we are owed a little bit more drama sooner, and they're just not doing it. And why? We're all ready. The storyline's already in place. What are you waiting for?
Right.
Let's do this. Don't fuck up this fucking Malachi Black shit, man. It's fun, and you need to take it seriously, and we need more members in the House of Black, and we need them to be badass, and we need conflict with people and dealing with their soul, looking in their soul and dealing with the darkness and the light and all this stuff. I'm saying it isn't that difficult. Look at any Nordic fairy tale and you can get your storyline, okay?
Well, I can say this, man. I cannot wait till Brody King gets involved, man. It's going to be so awesome. But
what
they
the fuck
got to
are you
do
gonna get involved with now? They ruined that shit.
They can't.
Exactly.
Let me make
Julia. They brought the fucking Lucha Bros out. Guess what? That's not happening.
Not happening. Let me make a couple points here on this one. First of all, let me put it in the eye patch on Julia, ridiculous. We don't need to beat that to death. That's a bad thing. The thing that I really like, let me talk about the match itself really quick, that I really like and I really love about Malachi Black, which makes him so cool. He can counter every move. Every move someone throws at him, he's got a great counter for it, and he makes people pay for it. That's what I love about his wrestling style. And that's what makes him so sinister. So I thought the match itself was a great match. It was great after watching that Jade match because you're like, wow, this is some really good technical wrestling. Brian Pillman's great. He's going to be even better. They got to use him more. They got to get him more involved in some of that stuff. They were using him at the beginning of the middle of last year a lot. and the Varsity Blondes were out there quite a bit. And then they kind of slowed down a little bit. I think Griff might have gotten hurt a little bit, and they kind of slowed them up a little bit. But I think Brian's a great wrestler. And it was great at the fact that the way that they ended it, that he slipped and then Malachi beat him, because that's kind of cool of the fact that they might set something up for later, which will be cool. So we'll see where that goes. Obviously, with the Lucha Brothers coming out, I was all expecting Brody to be like standing right behind him.
Yeah,
It
like
would have been
boom,
so
there
dope.
it is.
Like lights
Especially
go
with
out.
the lights and shit.
I know the lights go out, and there's this menacing Hulk that looks just like Malachi Black standing behind the Lucha Brothers, but didn't happen. That match is not going to happen, obviously, because we're going to start talking about the last match of the night, and just how I felt about that and how we all felt about that. And so let's see where we go. I mean, they could always redeem themselves and make the story better. But we'll see. Go ahead, Tammy.
I just want to correct you that Malachi Black is not necessarily sinister. You only bring out what people already have within them. He is a leveler. So I just want
I think it's just a term of the darkness. I don't think it necessarily has to do with his motives.
He may not be dark though. You cannot bring darkness out of somebody that doesn't.
I mean, the dude literally comes out in darkness. Come on, there's visual imagery there that appropriates Chris, that. It's very direct. It's not the philosophical darkness. It's more like the imagery, like the heavy metal kind of, spooky vibe. It's not about what his principles are.
But I understand what you're saying, but there's actually more meaning to his. You have to do your research, okay? So when he comes out, actually, there's light. There is light when he comes out.
That's
so
true.
Think about that. So it's about the different aspects of that. When he first comes out, it's about the light. It's more about nature. So look into that, because I don't know all the specifics, but I do know when he first shows up, there's light behind him, not darkness.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that light represents positive either, but it's not positive or negative is what I'm trying to say, is he has the different phases of humanity. And each time he disappears and reappears, there's a different amount of light. And I know that means something to him because I read about it. I just don't remember all the specifics. So, because I've read about it and I know that he actually lives a lot of this stuff, and I live a little bit of it, but not in the same way. And I use a lot of it in my art imagery, a lot of things. So, I just want to make sure, like, that's why I'm saying that's why he can be so interesting if they so choose. It's so easy to look at him as the dark side. It's so easy to look at it as light versus dark, but light and dark are both concepts that are dependent upon each other. One doesn't exist without the other.
Okay.
And so I don't think that he's necessarily sinister, but if you have something in you, it could be brought out in certain circumstances. So I feel like he's more of a mirror to what's going on deep down inside.
He does say that a lot in the interview. So this will be fun.
Fair.
This will be fun to.
I didn't just make it all up then.
No. So hopefully we'll see more development, and hopefully Brody King will jump in there quick, because that's going to be a lot of fun. So,
but think about how much there is to use, because that's the thing in creativity. We always have like this and that, and it's so simplistic, but we know that's not really how humanity is. And even if you look at old folk tales, they are not that simple either. And if you brought that into storylines, more into wrestling, you would have so much more interesting things happen. So I feel like we almost make it cartoony, the good against the bad, the right against the wrong, but really all those are concepts based on where you're from and what you believe. And so there's like all these interesting things that occur. And that's what I'm hoping for, like with House of Black and more characters in. I don't know if I'll get it. I really don't, but I hope so, because I pay attention to a lot of that.
Nice.
Personally.
So let's go on to the match of the night, the title matches. We'll start with Chris on this one. This one was a tough one. This is the Lucha Brothers defend against Jurassic Express for the belts.
I'm glad Chris is going first.
Absolutely absolutely a fantastic match from top to bottom. The thing was immaculate. These spots were so detailed and so well planned. There was that one spot with Jungle Boy and Ray where they did the top rope thing and they did the flip back and all that stuff. And they just kind of looked at each other. I love those moments. And there was a lot of in-ring work that was great here. Luchasaurus looked a little off, which kind of threw me because normally he's just a tank, but it almost looked like he was like a careful tank. Again, I think there might be part of a language barrier there, maybe just making sure the timing's right and all that stuff. I know Lucha Bros don't have like great English, and I know that Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, neither one of them speak Spanish as far as I'm aware. So maybe there was a little bit of timing issues, but it did look like something was a little bit off there. And then, of course, there was the injury, which, I mean, fuck. You can't plan for these things. And the one thing I keep going back to is, was Jurassic Express really supposed to take those titles? I still don't know for sure, and I haven't seen any interviews about it yet. I don't know if this was the original plan. It didn't feel like it at the time. It seemed very, oh shit, we got to go to a finish. Ray's fucked up. And that injury looked so bad. I'm so glad that it's supposedly not as bad as it looked. Jesus Christ, I thought his arm was like, I was waiting for a bone to pop out and for blood just blah. But I mean, we don't know what the long-term things are going to be. There's nerves in there. There's a lot of stuff right in that region that even, it's a dislocated elbow. There could be long-term damage in that arm for him. And we're not going to know till we get down the road. I hope it's not that, because Jesus Christ, can you imagine? That's one of the greatest professional wrestlers living right now, sidelined. That would suck. I hope it's 4 to 6 weeks, not 4 to 6 months, not the rest of his life. I'm like with many things in my life, I'm trying to be optimistic, but I fear for the worst. The match, though, itself was absolutely beautiful. I couldn't have asked for better between these two teams. It looked great. And on paper, I wasn't that excited. Because Jungle Boy, while he's athletic and he does all the flippy dippy shit and all that, Luchasaurus is kind of the enforcer. He sort of does the, he's the drop everybody guy. And I didn't see Lucha Bros staying down for any of it. And they didn't. Every time he went at him, they got right back up and went back to their stuff. I was disappointed in this only because I don't know what the finish was supposed to be. It didn't feel like a finish that the Lucha Bros would have been down with, as far as from my perspective. Right. I'm happy to see these guys as champs, though. They get to have some titles finally. They deserve them. Jungle Boy's been doing this for a long time, and he's absolutely phenomenal. Luchasaurus too. He's been in the game for a while, man. But this, it didn't seem like a good match in the beginning. Like the two teams together, it just didn't make sense to me. So I don't know. I love the match. I enjoyed it. I was so entertained. Good on all of them for making this way better than I thought. However, the finish was marred. I can't feel one way or the other without thinking, fuck, what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Tammy, and then I'll go.
Okay. I was really super high by this time of the night. I'd had a big... I mean, I was
that
really
must have been rough.
It was a rough week for me, to be honest. I was in a lot of pain that day, and I mean, it's really high. I used the highest dose stuff I had, which is probably, ladies and gentlemen, I have a license. Okay, I'm not doing illegal drugs, and I don't.
And we're gonna remind everybody weekly until they know it.
I'm gonna remind everybody. Like, I don't want anyone to think I'm like high all day and not doing shit in my life, or that I'm relying on it as a crutch. But I have it as a pain management system, but I also enjoy it too. So we'll be honest on that.
Tammy, listen, it's a different time. I don't know that you have to.
I know I'm old. I feel like somebody else was laughing at me, like, I'm not going to arrest you, but I'm like, I'm still old. So I feel like I have to explain myself.
No, but honestly, if anybody's got a problem with that, fuck off.
Yeah. No, so it was a long day, a long, stressful day for Tammy. And I was so bummed about like this match being on the card, or is that what we call it? A card?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Because I love both of these. I love both of these tag teams with all of my heart. So it's like your two children going against each other. Like, how do you choose? If I had to choose, I always go with Lucha Brothers because those are like my champions in my life and in my heart. I feel like they represent all that is good, that is like they have overcome the streets of Mexico, and they're like they're showing off their colors, and I'm so excited for them. And I felt like they haven't been champions for long enough to have this match, so my notes are more like things like not happy about this, too soon, but I love everybody. And I know like Jurassic Park like I feel like they have really interesting
Jurassic Express.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
We don't
I'm
want to
sorry.
get sued.
Jurassic Park.
Express. Jurassic
I'm not
Express.
high now, people. That was an old person slip up, and I promise you I'm not on the marijuana at this second.
The
But
marijuana.
anyways, I felt like this is something like, I don't know, it set up a lot of potential tag team challenges, but I just can't get over the trauma I felt during my high state when I all of a sudden saw, after having a hard day, and this was like my way to relax. I'm gonna have my wrestling, I'm getting rid of my pain, everything's gonna be okay, it's Dynamite. And then to have Ray Phoenix be injured, like I was traumatized.
Not
Like,
even
I
just
thought
injured, but
out of
brutal.
Oh, and that it might be career ending. Like I couldn't even, like, whatever happened before that. Chris is better. I'm glad he went first. He had so much better things to say, because all my high brain went blank and I went into panic, and I just felt like it took it so personally. Like, this was my family member, this is my hero, and he might not wrestle again, and how could I be witnessing this? And this was supposed to be my night to relax and get away from my pain, and it was traumatic, people.
I was instructed not to speak about it afterwards.
Now, Rafe lives with me. If you all haven't got that yet, we're in a partnership, a marriage.
Lives with me like your fucking roommate or something.
Dude, it's been forever.
Like for decades. Okay, we're married. But we call it partners now. Okay. So anyways, this was really traumatic. And yes, Rafe could not talk about it because Rafe was like really traumatized too.
I was so traumatized.
It'll be his turn next to talk about that.
Hopefully.
But he was very vocal about it, and I couldn't mentally handle any of it at that moment. I was like, I can't believe I just like needed a good thing, and I can't have this happen. And how could I have witnessed this? And then I realized the real truth of things now. Damn, I'm obsessed with this shit and into it because I cared so much, so gosh, I didn't need anything to be emotionally attached to now, but I'm attached to these people. They're my heroes, and I love them and I respect them. And I'm sorry I can't go on and on about the moves and how brilliant everybody was, because I was just traumatized.
And here's the worst part. I'm terrible to be around when shit like this happens, because I really am, man.
You won't stop repeating it the whole time.
Because like this is my reaction. Oh, fuck, his arm is broken. His career is fucking over.
Yes. It was making it worse for Tammy, okay?
That's exactly what I said. Tammy's like, shut up.
Oh my God.
It was not a good night here in the Ruggiero home.
Because, man, it was like watching, and I mean, I know I'm dating myself, but man, it was like watching fucking Lawrence Taylor breaking Joe Theismann's leg that one day, that one game, and that one Washington Redskins game, man. I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
It was the same thing, man. It was. You're watching that, and then the next thing you know, his leg folds in half. I mean, his friggin' arm folded in half.
It was like it took me a minute to catch it too.
No, it did. I was looking right at it.
It was like the third replay, and I was like, oh shit.
Yo, I saw it immediately. And that's the thing. Cause for some reason, my eye gravitated towards his arm. Cause I'm like, because when I saw him up there, I'm like, my first thought was his arm's not in the right spot. I go, something, because I go, this is awkward. Cause I just felt like the move was awkward at that point. I was like, this is awkward. And then he hit the ground. I was like, oh shit. Cause my eye went right on his hand. Cause came down on it. And I was like, oh no. And it went shipping. And I was like, and then I was like, oh shit. I go, he's fucked up.
And that was another crazy thing too, was Luchasaurus was selling his arm super hard.
Right.
So I was focused on him.
Right.
And they said, oh, we've got an injury. And then they did the replay 2 or 3 times. And I was like, oh, no. That is a noodle. That's not an arm.
No.
Wow.
And
God,
I
it
was
was
like,
so vicious.
I was like, that's it. I go, it's over. And then that's when I had that thought, the same thought you did. I said, okay, I think the Lucha Brothers were supposed to win. Yep. But they were like, oh man, he's hurt. This is their contingent plan. I think they have contingent plans like that. Like if someone gets hurt, then this is what's going to happen next.
I mean,
So,
you can
I don't know
plan
though.
for that.
I don't know.
I think it'd probably be difficult for them to plan for any possible injury like that. I think maybe they just call stuff on the fly if it's really bad.
Right.
My thing with this one though was it didn't look like anybody communicated to the guys in the ring what was going on.
Right.
I didn't see any moment of like, hey, you guys got to take this home. Like it was more like just a weird finish.
Yeah, it kind of took the shine off of the championship. It kind of took the shine off of that win. And it was too bad because I love Jurassic Express, man. I think they absolutely deserve to win it. Do they deserve to win it this soon? I'm not sure. I don't, China. I'm not sure. I don't know for 100%.
And not against the Bros.
Not against the Bros. I would expect them to be fighting, like going against the heel, like some type of heel group that stole it from the Lucha.
Well, I mean, technically they're heel.
Maybe they're not heel, not really. But you know,
I mean, they're super over with fans, but they're still heel, really. I mean, they fight faces almost every match. That's
so yeah, that's true. So if we're looking at it, those were the two best because like you said before, and I'm not going to reiterate it, but technically that was a great match. All of the
Absolutely.
acrobatics and the flips and the coordinated moves were absolutely fantastic. It was great to watch. And then the minute that happened to Rey Fenix, it was like someone let the air went out of the room. And it was like there was just this looming almost like sick feeling in everybody's stomach. I mean, you could feel it in AEW, you could feel it with the announcers, you could feel it with everybody, and they were doing their best to try to like muscle through that, but they knew that was nasty, and so they just knew it was nasty. So, but anyway,
and I have a question.
Yeah,
go ahead, Chris. You were talking.
So I was gonna say there's two ways that I knew this was a big deal, right? The first is normally, you know, we text throughout the shows and stuff and everything. And Rafe and I, immediately when this happened, it was like, bing, 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 like a bunch of messages back and forth. And for us to not immediately be like, okay, we're done, good night, whatever, and you know, move to the next day, it meant something. And me personally, I was laying in bed like, Jesus, that looks so bad. Oh my God. And the fact that I went to bed thinking about it, that was a big deal. The second thing that I knew it was big, and I knew that Tammy, you were going to be really disturbed by it, was the fucking text I got the next day of Rey Fenix on your fireplace.
Yes. He's here with me right now, actually.
There he is.
You can't see him.
There he is. He's like John Cena right now.
He's popping in and out. Okay, there he is.
So I got that text and I laughed, and then I was like, you know what? I wish I had one. I would do the same thing right now. Like it felt so. I don't know. I don't know how I got so attached. You know what I mean? And like so worried. Like it's not my fucking career. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna be okay regardless. But God, was I worried about this dude? Oh man! Worried. And for you and I, we've all had these conversations. Tammy, I know how much you love these guys. It's just what a shit show, right? How sad.
Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that he's okay though.
Yeah, I'm glad he's okay. I hope that everything turns out great. I cannot wait to see the Lucha Brothers come back again. We're not going to see them for a while, so let's see how they run these play lines with these guys and see where we go. But also want to note that the Lucha Brothers have had a lot of championships in the past and have held the belts for a long time in the past too. So it's not like
you trying to make me feel better.
I am. And
dude, they are not hurting for anything at this point. Those guys have had probably every title you can have as a tag team in North America.
They have.
Except for maybe up there in New York where they don't give a shit about what you do. It's all about how pretty you are.
Right. Exactly. So they've won their fair share of everything. So, and it's great. And it's like, and so we'll see how that goes. I thought it was a short title run for them. But then again, I think too short. But then again, I think it may have been switched around. So we'll see.
Yeah, I want to just say something about that. Does that happen? Because I felt like if it's a tag team, even if one's hurt, the other could win it for them. So that's why I don't think they changed it.
But when you don't know how serious that injury is, you can't put the straps on somebody who can't fight.
Right. I agree. And that's what I thought too. I was like, okay, if he's going to be out, he can't defend it. They
didn't know in that moment how.
Listen, if it was like a knee injury or something, right, and he was just selling the leg, it would have been different. The dude's fucking arm folded in half the wrong direction.
Half.
Immediately, it's like, okay, worst case scenario, we're looking at a few weeks.
Yeah, right. You have to go the worst case scenario, and you have to otherwise they'd have to vacate the title, and it wouldn't make any sense.
Well, do you people see them try to get the title again?
Yeah. What do you say about moving to TNT?
I was going to say, especially with moving to TNT and everything, they're on a new network now. They're trying to get ratings. They're trying to do this and that. You can't risk having champions that can't defend their belts.
Yeah, you can't.
And I did not mean to interrupt, Tammy. What were you saying?
No, that's okay. It's inevitable sometimes. I don't even know what I said.
Okay.
To be honest, I think I was just trying to figure out how they would know that in the moment if it was bad.
I saw. So
I mean, it was gone.
Yeah, but and then you saw.
And do you think that they will come back and try to get it again, or this is just done? A done deal?
They're definitely going to have those titles again for sure.
But I think the moment that made me think of it, and Chris mentioned it too. We both saw it. It was like you saw Jungle Boy and Penta. They look like they communicated with each other, and they look like they said, "Let's wrap this up." Like they're like, "Okay." And he's like, "You need to win." I mean, it was something like that. Like, this is yours. You got to take this now. And they wrapped it because it was seconds after that happened.
But do they have that kind of license to make that call?
They would have to. Yeah, I believe that they must.
I don't know how it works.
Here's my theory. If this was supposed to be if Jurassic Express was supposed to take the titles that night, I guarantee the finish was supposed to be a lot more dramatic. It was supposed to be something much more explosive that happened. But instead of that, I think Penta and Jungle Boy were like, oh shit, we can't do that other spot. Take it home. Because like I said, I didn't see a ref tell them anything. Nobody got in their ear. It's not like they're wearing earpieces. They made a judgment call on the fly, I think.
Okay.
And good for them for having the clairvoyance to do that so quickly in the moment. I don't know. It still didn't feel right.
No, there was a bad omen over that win.
It was traumatizing for me.
So, and
I think it was traumatizing for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah. And like Tammy said, I love Jurassic Express too. I mean, I love them. I think they're great. I hated to see the match between the two of them. So I much rather see them wrestle a heel or wrestle somebody that's not.
I'd rather see them team up or something.
Right.
Like I loved when they did that.
Yeah. Like, so, but we'll see where it goes, and all the best to Ray and all that stuff. And hopefully everything works out good with that. Usually sometimes with dislocated elbows, you can get right back in. Just depends on what happens.
Yeah. You just pop it back in and go on with life. You
can kick it in there. I mean, I think if it was broken, we would know that he's going to be gone for a long time, but we'll see how this goes. And so let's move on to Rampage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. Let's finish that up. I mean, and then we'll see what the future brings.
And there's Battle of the Belts. We got a
Yeah.
lot.
I know we got it. Let's
Drop in, everyone. We got a lot to talk about.
yeah.
All right. Adam Cole and Jake Atlas. That was the first match of the night.
All right. Who wants to start?
I thought, are we not going by the same thing that you?
Well, you
made
like
us
to. Well, we
decide?
could. All right, Chris, go ahead.
All right. So I'm a big fan of Jake Atlas. I was really impressed with him on Dark. The whole Adam Cole match, it seemed kind of left field and sort of weird. Like the promo where he cut it, like, I want Jake Atlas. I was like, why, dude? Like, you got so much shit going on right now, and your boys are there and everything. What the fuck are you doing? I guess they needed to scramble with something because of the Young Bucks storyline fizzling out. And honestly, Adam Cole, Jake Atlas doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, just physically in ring styles and all that. It was an okay match. From what I understand, Atlas picked up some kind of injury. I still don't have all the details on that. I've been trying to figure it out. I think it may be a knee thing. I don't know if that was a kayfabe injury, if it was legit.
That was legit. That was real. That was a real.
That's
injury.
what I thought, but it's hard to see in that match when maybe it happens because he kind of sells it like for a lot of the match, but it's not. It doesn't look that bad.
It happened.
So,
it happened right before the he was trying to pull that sunset moonsault on him. It happened right before that. That's when he put him out and tapped him out.
Well, then what I'm gonna say then, if that's the case, is the kid fucking killed it with an injury.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a great match, start to finish. I love Adam Cole. You guys know that.
Hey, Bay.
But granted, it just didn't do a whole lot for me, and it sucks that another fucking injury start a show like. And I heard about this injury like the same time I was trying to follow up on what happened with Ray. They were talking about Jake Atlas too, and how there was 2 injuries on this same night, which kind of ruined the whole deal for me. But you know, I liked it. I like Jake Atlas a lot. I think he's really cool.
Tammy.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Go. It's your turn.
Okay. But Chris was still talking while you were saying Tammy. Just barely stopped.
He said that's it.
Okay. Then you don't need to tell me anything. All right. Anyways.
Whoa.
This is my notes on that. Love that sparkle of Jake Atlas. Decent match. Like these two against each other. They both have a variety of moves. And I hope a storyline develops even more with Jake Atlas, which it looks like possible with the Bobby Fish and O'Reilly jumping in. Best friend, save Jake? Why? We shall see. Hopefully Jake's injury won't keep him out long. That's it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I've got a couple things to say about that. I think it's because the Bucks had COVID that they changed the storyline and pulled in Atlas. I think Atlas is a great athlete. I thought he was I thought he was a good match against Adam Cole. I thought that that Adam Cole is great at countering, just like Malachi Black is great at countering. If we want to talk about the intricacies of the match, one of my notes was vets always have the good counter moves that help win the match, and that's what happened. And so Adam Cole, definitely convinced you that even though this guy's got a lot of skill, Adam Cole's got that much more skill to win the match. Now, where it goes on the card and where it goes on the storyline, I'm not really sure where that's going to go.
Potential.
It's got a potential to go somewhere, but I just thought I thought they were both good athletes, and it was a fun match to watch. As far as like a headliner, it definitely wasn't a headliner match, but it was definitely a good match to watch. It definitely, like, if I paid money to go see that, I would have been happy to see that match.
Yeah. But it didn't feel like filler though.
It didn't. Yeah, exactly. But then we also have to remember he gets tapped out, and then the Undisputed comes, and then we see the Best Friends, so they're setting that up. Now,
hold on. We're not gonna call them that anymore because it's a shitty name with shitty creative from somewhere else. Fuck that whole thing. they're Paragon now, apparently, from what I'm hearing.
Paragon.
What? Where did
Yeah.
you hear this?
So AEW recently trademarked this thing, Paragon. They've even trademarked a logo for it. And Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly have both talked about this Paragon thing before. Bobby Fish actually brought it up in a promo like a week ago. So I think this is going to be the new thing is they're going to be Paragon now, which is a stupid fucking name. But the logo looks way cooler than I thought, so I'm kind of excited about it. So let's finally put to bed that whole undisputed thing.
Great, cool. But you know, that's also set. I don't know how that fit in with the best friends coming out and Orange Cassidy.
So Orange
coming out.
Cassidy, listen, Orange Cassidy, his beef with Adam Cole from a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
You know, he's like, look, you guys aren't gonna throw a beat down on nobody. I got this here fucking chain.
All right.
And he wrapped it up.
Yeah, the
But then-
chain.
Here's what threw me on this. They sold it on commentary like, oh, best friends, best friends. Where was Trent?
I don't know.
It was Wheeler Yuta out there.
Yeah, that's true.
That was odd.
It was odd.
Where the fuck is Trent? Is
Yeah.
Trent also not sick? Like what?
Yeah. So
I think you're onto something with that whole. Maybe there's something going on that we don't know about.
right. All right. So number 2 of the night was Hook versus Aaron Solo.
Well, hold on.
Hold
We
on.
have to acknowledge the fact that they talked about how this stupid swap with Cody and Dustin. That was fucking dumb.
Ugh.
Right.
They
Ugh.
had to like make an
Ugh.
announcement about it. Really, an announcement that you're doing an interim champion? Bullshit. First of all, I want to say that. That's all I'm going to say about it. And then Andrade had a little segment
Oh, that's right.
where
He wa-
he was talking
He
shit
did.
about Darby Allin. Why the fuck does everybody hate Darby Allin so
He-
much?
He's not talking shit about Darby Allin. He wants to buy Darby Allin.
I don't think anybody hates Darby. I think they want to come up against him because he's like the new thing.
Listen,
he wants him to be
when
his
I-
assistant.
Exactly. That's your shit talking. That's shit talking.
That's great.
You're downgrading somebody who has carried AEW through the pandemic.
It's perfect.
Come on.
So
That's
when
shit
Darby
talk.
when Darby beats him, it's going to be that much better because we know Darby's going
Is
to
it?
beat him.
Is Darby gonna beat Andrade?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking see that match. And I don't want to see Andrade get beat by him. I
I
love
think
Darby
I'm with
Allin.
you. I love
I love
Andrade.
Darby Allin and I love Sting. I don't want to see Andrade of all people get beat by fucking Darby Allin.
No, he
It
shouldn't
kills
be.
the character.
It's going that way.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
This is another one of the points.
Darby
Wait a
needs
second.
to lose a little.
I just want to say this. The last podcast, I predicted that Jade Cargill was going to win. So
All right.
I'm on a
off,
hot streak.
Brave.
I'm on a hot
let's
streak.
give
here.
we need an award for Rafe when he's right.
Dude, I swear
You're
to God,
right.
I'm gonna have a,
You're
I'm gonna have a
right.
fucking,
You
I'm gonna have one of those
won.
I'm gonna have one of
got
those-
it.
custom.
look at the
style
jealousy.
made. It's gonna be the All Elite Murder Theater Championship, and I swear to God, I'll send it to you. Okay?
We need
You
a
fucking
a
win.
little like.
That
trophy
doesn't
for
make
him.
it better.
he
Doesn't make it
needs to
better.
win. He needs to win. He needs to win.
I'm
think
not
it's a
trying to
stupid
win.
Story. That's
I'm
all.
just trying to be
That's all I
right.
was trying to say.
No, you want to win.
I
Don't
just
lie.
want to be right.
Don't lie to the listeners, the visual, however they receive this. What do? They watch it, they listen. What else is there?
All right.
They
So,
mentally
speaking
like
of
connect
shit-
with us and ESP it, whatever. You
look,
want
they're
to
all
win.
over my ass.
Speaking of shit that made me angry, the next thing we had was the Hook and Aaron Solo deal.
There you go. Go ahead, Chris.
Fuck this. I don't care about Hook. I do not care. Everybody seems super invested in him in any arena that he's in. I don't give a shit. I don't know why I don't care.
Got
he's
down
cool,
with Hook.
whatever. He's like super young and he's kind of handsome and all that.
I
Whatever.
think he's jealous.
Listen, the kid's got talent. I might be. Shit, I wish I was that kid. Can you imagine? Jesus Christ. That much in shape. The weirdest hair I've ever seen. People are screaming your name. He's like 19, fucking 20 years old. Yeah, I'm jealous for sure. But that I still don't get it though. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I don't get it. Tammy, what's your thoughts on this match?
So it feels manufactured.
And I'll be right back. I got to take a bathroom break.
Okay. If it,
Hey,
like,
why don't we pause? All right. So my take on this Hook thing, I don't understand what the big deal is either.
Did you skip me? Is that what you did?
No. You said it. You said you didn't understand the big deal either. So,
I know. I never weighed in on this.
all right, go ahead, weigh in.
Do you want to re-record?
No.
I did not weigh in. And you have a lot of feelings about this, Chris, I see. And I understand why. I mean, again, it's
No,
kind of
I
like,
don't think I do have any feelings about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have no reason to care about this.
you're a little bit
bullshit.
resentful about Hook, and I understand why, because it's the exact same reason that when I, as a newbie, and newbies come in and get all this attention where I haven't built up with it yet. So Hook just kind of came on the scene and all of a sudden got all this fanfare and didn't start at the bottom. Why is he on a Rampage? You know what I mean? Not a Dark. You know, that's what I don't understand.
Exactly.
It's like, it's the same kind of thing. It's like all of a sudden this favored person comes in and gets all these spots that other people had to work from the bottom up for. So I feel like that might be like why you're kind of resentful about it. It's like, where did he come from? He didn't build up to this. He's just like, what is Rampage about? Can we just talk about that? What is the purpose of Rampage? What level of wrestler gets on Rampage? I thought it was like really big names. And what we saw Hook wrestle once or twice prior to this as a young kid.
From what I can tell so far, Rampage is like a recap / tune in next week. That's what I think the show is. Originally, I thought it was going to be kind of like and you guys won't get this reference, a WCW kind of Thursday Thunder sort of second show. And then I realized they were going to do it for 1 hour. And then I realized how many commercials happen within that 1 hour. I think it's advertising money. I think it's something to fill a gap on TV at that time. And also the fact that it comes after that other stupid show ends. That kind of sucks. I hate waiting until 10 o'clock to watch this fucking thing, by the way.
It's too late for us.
But I'm very thankful though that AEW has a second show on network television. So it comes with good and bad. But I don't think there's like it's certainly not Dynamite, right? I mean, it's and also Rampage, I think, is a place to test out some of the newer talent on network TV.
It seems like bigger names are usually Rampage, though.
Not always, though. They'll have like one big name match and then like some weird shit thrown in. And then like some promo stuff and backstage segments, interviews. There's always like a lot of weird shit peppered in, and then maybe one match that like the mainstream people are going to care about.
Okay.
They have a lot of street fights on Rampage.
So my feeling was on Rampage, I felt that Hook did well for a young person coming from nowhere, but but it was just decent and okay. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about it. I feel like there's a lot of potential there, but again, I feel like somebody is skipping the line a little. And I never like that feeling when there's people that have been working longer and harder. But again, I don't know his history. It seems like he's done a lot on the indies and proven himself in other places, but I kind of just saw like briefly some stuff. So I don't have a lot of facts there, and I could be wrong.
I'm gonna go back and look at that because I'm curious about that. I wonder if he's done anything anywhere else.
I think you should, because I felt like I saw some stuff where he wrestles other places, so he's not just debuting here.
Here's the thing that pisses me off, and this is the majority of it. Look at the contrast between him and other second-gen wrestlers, right? You've got Arn's kid who goes out and pays his fucking dues, gets his ass beaten every week. And then you've got this jackass who looks like some sort of tanned TikTok celebrity that goes out for weeks and weeks and weeks, doesn't say shit. He eats potato chips, right? And then suddenly he's a fucking undefeated, what? It's weird, man. It's weird. Did Taz pay somebody?
Right.
I don't understand.
No, you have great points. You really do. I mean, I'm not opposed to those points. I agree. But TikTok is an audience if you're looking at from a marketing standpoint. You know what I mean? If you're trying to get new viewers in.
I mean, he is very, very like he could very easily bring young women in as you look at the whole boy band rock star kind of vibe. He's got that for sure. 100%.
Sure, and young gay men, you know.
Very easy to absolutely. He's very easy to look at. The kid, he's athletic. He's got like a fucking 27 pack. I don't know what he has down there. He's very shiny. His hair has like an extracurricular sort of it's like space like the shit has its own gravity. No, but I just despite how the kid looks and all of that, like we have no personality from him. We don't,
but I thought he did a decent match with Aaron, so he still has
just copying Taz's match over and over again. It's the same.
That's his dad, so
he's fucking throwing the fucking thing, and then he does the Taz mission, whatever the hell they call it, red drum. Really, you're stealing something that came out before you were born. Shut the fuck up. Out of here.
I thought the best part of the whole thing was the Marshall takedown with the suplex after, to be honest.
I like that, and I like that, and the only thing I really I have only a couple things to say about this.
QT took that hard too.
He did.
Man, did he fucking roll over for that motherfucker?
Yeah, he did. So here's a few things I'm going to say about this match, and then I'm moving on. Hooks come on too soon. I don't know where they're going with it. That's great. I'm glad everybody loves them. Wonderful. One of the funniest things was Jericho. He said the Edward Scissorhands haircut, which was perfect.
It was great.
I wrote that down. I was like, that's awesome. Who's this kid with the Edward Scissorhands haircut? I was like, okay, that's great. He's very strong. He obviously dominated the match. It looks like they're setting up some stuff with the factory, like FTW in the factory. So we'll see. Okay, great. Let's move on. I'd like to see him lose at least once.
Yeah, we all want to see that.
Please.
We
All
should
right. Humble that kid a little bit.
Onward we travel. Then number 3.
Ricky Stark segment came next about
That's
the
right.
FTW title, which fucking why I don't know. Who cares?
It's not even a legitimate title. It's not even a recognized title by AEW.
It's not a legit title. He picked a weird ass opponent. It was on a stupid fucking show. It was dumb.
Right. Onward we travel. That's all we can say about that. Moving on.
Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho and Riho. Good match.
Very good match. I thought this was an excellent match.
It was.
Tammy's got a smirk on her face, like she does not like this. So, go ahead, Chris. What's your thoughts?
So I'm a little pissed off about it, only because, I mean, first of all, you're fighting the next night, right? This is a precursor, and you give the wrong impression. Okay. Jamie Hayter is a fucking star, dude. If anybody should have won that title off of Ruby Soho, it should have been her. First of all. Second of all, the Britt Baker Riho program, and I'm going to say this in a minute, I'm pissed off where that goes. So this match was a waste for me. That's it.
Okay. Tammy.
Well, I don't think I'm too far off from Chris. I put a bunch of great wrestlers, but nothing stood out. There wasn't a standout moment. It's much of the same. I feel like we keep seeing like different variations of this group against each other. They all have their signature moves. We know them, whatever. They're all great, but we keep seeing this in different variations. Yeah. And I'm ready for more twist in the storyline. I want to see more going on.
It was like, oh, okay, now that Jay Cargill has a TBS title, throw Ruby into this feud with these assholes. Why?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I think we already like see the Hater and Britt are having issues, and let's just get on.
And that's a better story.
That's a better story.
It's like, let's get on with that and let's move on with that. Like we all see it coming. I'm sick of this. It's not fun when it's a reliable, constant drip of all the same.
Right.
I think they're doing everyone a disservice. I think storyline wise, like every single person there was an amazing wrestler. We know this. Okay. If we just are coming to see amazing, great wrestlers, great. We're happy. But at the same time, like we need a little bit more going on with these people and not recycling all these lines. And like we already know somebody's disgruntled with somebody because they're showing it, but then they like drag it out forever. Like, let's just get this shit done and move on. Like we're not in kindergarten here.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have much to say. I do enjoy watching Jamie Hayter wrestle. I think that they basically, it was a punching bag match for Ruby Soho. I mean, she was just getting beat in that match the whole time.
I mean, they fucking ripped her after the damn Jade Cargill match they attacked.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, she had
She
just
doesn't
wrestled.
deserve all that, man.
She had just wrestled that night. She just got beat in the promo, and then she comes out and she has to take a beating in Rampage. I'm hoping to see better things for Ruby Soho in the future. So it was an entertaining match. Was it overwhelmingly great? No, it wasn't, but it was good. It was a good match. Like I said, I'm always entertained watching Britt and Jamie wrestle. I like Riho. She's just amazing, an amazing little thing. And and then Ruby's great too. So it was fun. It was fun to the extent, but like with both of you guys, let's see more of this stuff. Let's get this stuff moving along. So
Yep.
It could be
I mean,
more
don't get me wrong.
dynamic with better story.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
as a standalone match, if it wasn't for the storylines going on, it was
Yeah.
good.
It was
good.
They all performed well.
Definitely.
All of those women are fantastic performers. However,
100%.
there just was no reason for this whatsoever.
Yeah, it does. It was like, I felt like a lot of these matches this week were square pegs and round holes.
Yeah, and they slapped them together like for just to fill shows or something.
Right. So
to get to what? This fucking TNT Battle of the Belts bullshit.
I don't think the Battle of the Belts went off like they wanted it to. I
Okay,
think
but we
that-
have one more match to discuss before
Yeah.
we talk about that.
Well, we
Right.
have another thing to talk about too.
Right.
This,
Lambert.
the Lambert segment, which
Yeah.
it was like, yes, for once, Dan Lambert was talking. I was like, he's fucking absolutely right.
Right. Yeah.
100%. I agree with you, Dan Lambert, you piece of shit.
Right. He's
It was
like,
beautiful.
yeah, he's like Scorpio Sky's the higher ranked wrestler. He's the one that
Mhm.
should be wrestling.
And that's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
It is. And it's like, and so I can't wait to see how that goes, because first of all, Scorpio Sky is a great wrestler. Number one, Ethan
Talented
Page
as fuck.
Ethan
Dude, he's
Page is
amazing.
a great wrestler. Number two, I think that would have been a wonderful match Saturday night, period, between either Dustin or Sammy and Scorpio
For
Sky.
sure.
It would have been 100% great.
Or they could have just delayed the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're still getting ahead of ourselves here, Rafe.
Yeah. So
So, okay, real quick, I want to say this. Scorpio Sky is amazing. That dude is so fucking talented. I don't know if you guys were watching when SCU was still a thing,
mm-mm.
where it was him and Frankie Zarian and Christopher Daniels.
No.
I guess none of that was, man, go back and watch some of the SCU matches from the like 2019, 2020 AEW stuff.
Okay.
Beautiful stuff. Great faction. Sort of heelish, sort of babyface. Christopher Daniels is amazing. Frankie Zarian is amazing. Scorpio Sky got in the mix with those guys. I preferred him in that group rather than what he's doing now, but I'm all for seeing more of him. Scorpio Sky is so good.
Mhm. Me too. I want to see Scorpio Sky a lot more. So hopefully they push him through. And then we get to the Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, Daniel Garcia, and 2.0.
You
This
guys already know
was.
how I feel about this program.
Go ahead, Chris.
Let's hear it,
Please.
Chris.
Everybody's heard what I have to say about this shit. Go ahead.
No, I want to
No.
hear you. You have to talk about this specific.
No,
match.
so
Quick
did
recap,
anybody? I mean, is it just me or was this just more of the same? Like,
Was-
so Kingston shined. He
Shined.
Kingston was beautiful through
Yeah.
this whole thing. And this match in particular, I love him so much. And Santana and Ortiz do not get enough TV time. I don't know what happened. I don't know when they stopped being on TV, but I want to see them all the time. I love them so much. They are so charismatic, so just like the way that they do things is so different than a lot of the other tag teams. They don't do a lot of the like the show off moves. I don't know how else to say it. They don't do like the big spots. It's a lot more like street fight stuff where they just want to punch you in the face and piss on you while you're sleeping. You know what I'm saying? Like they are so badass, dude. I don't know. I'm over Daniel Garcia. I've turned the corner on 2.0. I actually enjoy them, but I'm done with this fucking feud. I'm over it.
Well, I think that this ends it. Yeah, I think that this is ended. Yeah.
I sure fucking hope so, because I want to see other people in them, and I want to see the other people they've been dealing with move on. I want to see Eddie Kingston go do something. I want to see him and Mox do something when Mox comes back.
Well, that's what's going to happen. That's why they're
I sure fucking hope so. I'm over this shit. Go ahead.
Tammy, go ahead.
So, I mean, I feel like this was something that I've seen before, like in some sort of shape, version, or something. So I've left, this is my best words I can give it. You know, with that being said, I feel like maybe this is being part of wrestling because I'm less than a year that you start to recycle a lot of things, and a lot of things give you the same vibes. So I don't know if that's part of it, but I feel like this is like a great lineup of people normally, but I feel like we've seen them all kind of come at each other before somehow in different ways. So my best words are this. These are my notes. I like that it started backstage. That was actually good. I like that because that was more like a real like feud with people. Like they really dislike each other. It's not just that it's just a professional wrestling feud so I kind of like that. And it just builds up more of my dislike for Garcia, which I'm finding is a good thing because it's so satisfying when he finally does get his head kicked in, which I think should happen more often. And I still like Squarehead from 2.0, but I still can't remember the other guy's name, but I'm going to attempt to. And it's not because he's not a decent, I don't know why, you know, some of these white dudes all like run into my brain together. Is his name Jeff?
Listen,
Jeff Parker.
Chris Jericho apparently feels the same way.
Okay.
So, I mean,
So
he
is
was
his
out
name
there
Jeff?
ripping. He was calling him Squarehead. Who gives a shit?
Okay. Well, I actually like that guy. So it's not an insult. It's just that he does look like a squarehead, and he does the whole do you want to taste thing, which sets him apart, you know? So I remember him. But the other guy, his partner, I'm always like, who is this person? I don't remember a single moment from him. And I'm sure he's a good wrestler, and it's on me, Jeff. It's on me. I'm the issue here, not you. Okay. But anyways, I think I think I'm coming around a little bit on them being heels. So like the more like I do love to hate them, but I realize I like really hate Garcia. So, but they're always a 3-package people, you know, there's 3 of them together. And I need a good heel. I need someone that I like to.
Let me ask you this. Do you hate Garcia in the same way that you hate 2.0?
No. Thank you for asking. No, I don't. I like 2.0 as heels more like they enter like, and it really comes to Squarehead. To be honest, I think he's funny. Lee. Is that his name, Matt Lee? I think Matt Lee's hilarious. I think he has a lot
I agree.
Of you know, so I enjoy him. I don't hate him when he comes on. It's really that they package themselves with Garcia, who I dislike greatly, you know, and I dislike him like only half a point less now that he doesn't have Red Death on his ass with his trunks, because that for some reason triggered me. I don't know why, because I don't care, but for like about those words mean nothing to me, but for something about it, like, I don't know. I feel like Garcia represents some of the dudes in the hood back in the day that thought they were hard, but were punks.
In the hood?
Motherfuckers that I would like to slap across their face.
Okay.
So.
Fair enough. He's a
In that
douchebag.
way, he does his job well. So I love to hate him. So it's a weird relationship because I'm glad he's there because he makes it easy for me to have someone to dislike and root for the other person. So I feel like he's doing his job well. And I've always been like, do I know if he's a good wrestler or not, though? Like, I'm not sure. He seems like he wins a lot, but I'm like, I don't know. Like his technique doesn't stand out to me, but he's got to be decent to be where he's at.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't know if that makes any sense to all the listeners, but it
So
makes sense to me.
my thoughts on this.
I haven't finished, Rafe, by the
oh.
way. Okay. Let me see the rest of my notes here. Oh, I love a trash can to the head by Kingston on Garcia. I just wanted to, like, that was so. This is where a good heel and not liking someone is satisfying. You know what I mean? Like, I got something out of it. So when I say I hate you, heels, I don't really hate you. You're part of my therapeutic and existence of making sure somebody gets bashed in the head and they have consent on it. So I loved that moment. I loved a trash can to the head by Kingston on Garcia. And I love Santina and Ortiz. Like, I love them a lot. Like, they're not quite as high as the Lucha Bros for me, but they're really fucking close. And so the fact that they won, I found this all very satisfying, especially against that motherfucking guy I want to slap upside his head, Garcia. So it all worked out. And 2.0, you don't hurt my feelings. You're annoying, but you're kind of funny. And Jeff, I'm gonna remember you, okay? I'm putting it in here. I'm gonna remember you, white dude, okay? All right, Rafe, it's your turn.
Wait, Rafe, before you start, real quick, before I forget, you'll appreciate this. Is it not like super badass that Santana and Ortiz are wearing like corpse paint all the time?
Yes.
Is it corpse paint or are they like dead president?
Oh, it's corpse paint.
Okay.
It's corpse paint.
Yeah, because he had
like death metal corpse paint.
There's like lines and like details and shit. Yeah.
Okay.
He had the exact same paint as the guy. What the hell is the name of the band? I think it's Emperor. It's exact same corpse paint that the guy in Emperor had. They even threw it up on Twitter and they compared.
Oh, cool. You should hashtag them in this podcast.
Sure.
It's fucking dope, man.
It is. So this is what I'll say about this match really quick, and then we can move on. Very fun. Love to see everybody get, I love the street brawls. Matt Lee, I thought was great. Was great at helping sell this net match. He was, he's flipping everybody over into the crowd. He did a great job, Matt Lee did. So that was great. Santana and Ortiz, what can you say about them that you guys haven't already said? They're great. Daniel Garcia's annoying, but he wants to be annoying. He's supposed to be annoying. That's his gig.
Does his job.
And if he invokes that actions in you, then he's doing his job the right way. So, but I'm glad. I'm hoping that this feud ends and we move on with some other stuff with them. So we'll see how that goes. And now we are on to.
Nope. Hold on.
Oh, what did I miss?
Dude. First of all, one of my notes on this whole fight was please end this feud with 3 exclamation marks. But then after the match, we had a post-match beatdown. Jericho came out.
That's right.
There was a whole deal, and Kingston was still kind of like put off, even though he came out when Jericho was getting the beatdown. He came out to save him. I thought that was cool, but like, where the fuck is it going though? Like,
yes,
I don't know, but it's gonna be
why
cool.
is he mad about it?
I have to
kind of get it. You want to?
I would love to see the Inner Circle absorb Eddie Kingston for a little bit, and then have some turmoil happen, and have there be like this. Who's gonna lead the Inner Circle? I would love to see like that kind of feud.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It'd be dope. But yeah, that was it. That was the end of the night.
Right. So,
and then we moved on to Battle of the Boring, as you said.
Battle of the Boring.
That's a perfect fucking phrase for this stupid ass waste of TV.
All right, so I'm gonna say this really quick. I think that this wasn't supposed to go the way it was supposed to go. I don't think that they planned it this way at all.
You mean Humpy Wheeler?
and
And
Who was that? And there was another funny name too.
I
Davy
guess he's-
Crockett. David
So
Oh,
Crockett.
Davy Crockett.
listen, David Crockett is related to Jim Crockett. Jim Crockett Promotions back in the day. That's like a whole wrestling lineage. It doesn't matter now because of obviously none of it exists. However, none of what we look at today would exist had it not been for those guys.
Nice. Perfect. Humpy Wheeler. I mean,
Humpy fucking Wheeler.
I almost died. when I saw it.
Seriously? That's a
Almost-
real name? Bullshit. I call bullshit.
That's great. So on the Battle of the Belts, I personally don't think that this was supposed to go the way it was supposed to go. I don't think that I think the only real match that they were really supposed to have was Britt and Riho. And I think that the
Yeah.
only reason that the Britt and Riho fight happened is to give Britt the satisfaction of beating Riho and saying,
Yeah.
I beat her. And that's
She
it.
needed that decisive win finally. You
Right.
guys, I've said it on almost maybe every podcast we've done
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
She has never beat Riho technically.
Right.
Well, she has now, so
Right.
it's over.
Right. Was it a good match? Yeah, it was a good match. It was probably the better match of the night. Okay. I still think, regardless of what the stakes were, with the interim belt, I thought that the Dustin and Sammy match was fun. I thought
Wait a minute,
that
are you just going through every match, Trafe, or are we going through them one by one?
I'm going to go through my opinion here, and then I'm going to let you guys
But
talk.
you're going to go through your opinion on every single match?
I am.
I mean, there was only 3 matches.
There's only
Okay,
3 matches.
I'm just understanding how things are
So
going.
I'm just kind of, I just want to kind of get it out, and then because it's like it wasn't major of anything, so that's why I just kind of want to go. I'm going to give you my synopsis of everything real quick, and then you guys can go. I thought that the Dustin Sammy match was good. I thought it was a good, fun match. I thought that some of the moves were really good. I mean, Dustin's awesome, man. He's such a fucking awesome wrestler, and when he's paired against Sammy, they make those moves look perfect. And so, and when he did that Canadian suicide thing flip off of into the table, I seriously thought Sammy broke his neck on that shit. But he made it look, Dustin saved him because Dustin knows what the hell he's doing. So, and I don't think any other wrestler in AEW could have done that move with Sammy except for Dustin because he's got so much experience doing that stuff. And so, was the match good? Yeah, it was good. It was a good match. Did it mean anything? Nah, it didn't. That's what made it lame. So for that to be in a category of Battle of the Belts, it shouldn't have been there. It should have been on maybe like a mid-card Dynamite, you know what I mean? Or a middle or a middle Rampage or a first match of the Rampage. It was fun. It was good. It was technically killer, but that was about it for me. And then Sammy wins that. We saw Fuego come out and go after Arn, whatever that means. Who cares? Sammy wins, and then Garcia comes out, and I was like, that is Tammy's perfect rivalry right there. Because Sammy Guevara against Daniel Garcia, for her to watch Sammy beat the shit out of Garcia will probably be the happiest moment of her life. So we'll go on with that.
You're gonna get your wish on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm telling you. The Britt Riho match, okay. That's all I'm going to say. Good, fine, okay. Sadal Starks, sure. Sadal is such an underrated wrestler. I haven't seen enough of Ricky Starks to really give my opinion on him. He seems like he is an in-betweener, which what I mean by that is that he's got power, but he also has got a couple of high-flying moves here and there. And Sadal, I think, is great. I think it's cool that they brought out Dante, Sadal, and Moriarty together. I think that's a fun trio. And then so we'll see how that goes because, Dante came out at the end. Sadal and Moriarty were there. They tried to interrupt that fight. And so I thought that was pretty cool. But as far as the Battle of the Belts, that's pretty much how I felt about that. It was a big bowl of okay for me. And I think that COVID screwed everything up for them, and they're probably shooting for something different. And we'll see, because we saw the quote, we saw the text on that Dark is going to have some of these actual belt matches. So we'll see how that goes. So, but at that point, I'll give it to you, Chris, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah, but Rafe, wasn't Chris supposed to go first?
He was, but I changed the order, and I think
Okay.
you need to like let that go.
You're the one that made the rule, so I'm just like pointing
I
it out that you didn't.
All
understand that.
all right. It's my turn. God damn it. Read my paper. No. So first of all, you guys have heard me talk about Dustin before. The guy's a fucking consummate professional. He's absolutely one of the best in the business, I think. Everything he does is, I'm not going to say that. Everything he does is awesome. I was going to use a word and it was going to relate to his old gimmick, and I decided not to. Dustin Rhodes is maybe one of the greatest wrestling minds on the planet today. He understands all of it. He can anticipate things happening before they do. And he is so safe without looking careful. I think he just has everything that you could ask for in a professional wrestler. It's unfortunate that we didn't get to see Dustin have this kind of career 20 years ago when he was in his prime. I absolutely love to do. I can't say enough good things about him. And to Sammy's everything Sammy did was beautiful in this match as well, especially the bit where he was like stealing Dustin's moves. Like at one point he hit the ground and did the whole up punch thing and all that stuff, which is kind of like a play on what Cody does too. Cody lays down and does the smack. Dustin always does the knees and up, which I think is actually from Dusty, like old school Dusty. The match was great. I thought it was as good as a Dustin Rhodes Sammy Guevara match as you could ever get. However, it didn't feel important. It felt like a waste. It felt sort of like something you should see on a Rampage rather than what I thought was going to be a pay-per-view, which was actually just a TNT special. I'm disappointed in that whole vibe too, by the way. For something called Battle of the Belts for a 3-match card, like, really? That's stupid. I'm going to move on from that because it was a good match. It was fine. I'm glad Sammy's got the title back. I wish he had got it back from Cody, though, because it would have meant so much more on paper and on television. It just would have felt more important. And Sammy deserves that. Sammy deserves to feel important because he's so fucking talented and he's so young. That kid's he's gonna do amazing things if he gets booked correctly. Now there was the Ricky Starks Matt Sydal match. I love Matt Sydal. Matt Sydal carried this whole thing, unfortunately. Ricky Starks is okay. He's a little bland for me. I've said this before. He's like MJF light. It's all right. You know, it's not bad. It's okay. I wasn't invested in it because it was announced the night before. And it didn't seem to matter because it's not a title that's recognized by the company. So whatever. Hobbs was there like as a special enforcer holding the title or whatever, you know. And there was a moment where Sydal went to go get Ricky, and Hobbs kind of stood up like, I don't think so, bro. And I was like, ooh, shit, is some shit gonna pop off? No, Sydal kind of cowered and backed away. And I was bummed out by that because I feel like Sydal's not that type of dude. I feel like he'd probably fight anybody. It would probably run circles around almost all of them. So that sort of sucked. I'm going to move on because the whole front half of the show was disappointing. The Riho Britt Baker match. God. So Riho actually probably should have won this thing, in my opinion. Riho has been getting her ass beat consistently for weeks and still winning matches. She is so unbelievably talented. She is so tough. She's so little and like takes some of the craziest looking bumps I've seen and makes it look so good. And she's always if there's a way to be eloquent in devastation, it's Riho. Like, she makes getting beat up like a ballet almost. You know what I'm saying? Her offense is kind of bad. I'm not a fan of her offense because she's little. It doesn't feel like she's really gonna hurt anybody. But the way that she can take a fucking punch, my God. I feel like she could survive almost any situation. You know what I'm saying? So this match for me, I mean, it was good. It wasn't what I wanted from this. I feel like I've seen better from both of them, and I feel like they've had a fight or two previously that should have been more decisive. As far as if you're gonna make Britt the dominant one, then have it be before. It didn't feel like the drama that was building up to this for months and months and months. I was very disappointed in this show. So thankful though that I did not go in person, because as you guys know, it was in Charlotte, right down the street from me. Thank God I didn't pay for those tickets, because I would have been really bummed out.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I understand they taped some dark stuff after the show, but I feel like I would have felt ripped off leaving this. Not to mention, and I'm sorry if this pisses people off everywhere, but did you guys notice watching the show, nobody in the fucking crowd was wearing a mask? Was it just me?
That's
Like,
all
Charlotte-
the shows. That's all the
That's
shows.
all
No,
the
it's
show.
not all of them though.
We're
Like,
like the very we're like 15% of the people that show up wearing masks.
yeah, but like when you guys were there, Jacksonville, like there was a lot more masks than there were last night. Like, it was just
probably.
it
Yeah.
sort of sucked. It hurt my feelings a little bit to remind me that that's where I live. But I mean, long
Florida's
story short,
crazy, so it's not a competition. Trust me, if there's a competition, who cares less? Florida's proud of that.
so I mean, listen, the week for me was so. I'm pretty disappointed, but at the same time, shit could have been way worse. I'm thankful that this isn't another network or a different company, I should say, because it probably would have been a lot worse. But I expect better from AEW. It's like we were saying last week, like they've set their standards so high for such excellent programming, excellent storylines, shit that brings you in and makes you wish they were on every day. And this, it was like I could have went without this whole week, honestly. Other than maybe the Bryan Danielson Hangman match, and what was the other one that I really liked? I don't even remember now. There was one other thing
The
this
Kingston
week. That,
one, maybe?
no, I don't know. But the fact that I can't remember it says a lot. It was bad. I love AEW so much, and this just wasn't a great week.
There you go. Tammy.
I feel the same way. I felt really like not encouraged this week, and it's my first week feeling this way in my less than 1 year of this. I felt like there was a lot of things that didn't make sense. They didn't come together, or it just wasn't, that it lost value in certain ways by who they chose to allow to win and in the ways that they won. And so this was a dark week for me for AEW. So they need to spend some time redeeming. And I'm sure we're not alone. Like, there's gotta be other people that feel this way. So I feel like I need to see some better shit going down the following weeks. I mean, these entertainment only exists because of the fans, so they need to listen. So as far as the matches from the Battle of the Belts, I felt like Battle of the Belts was kind of like all lame, but like the whole week was lame. My only shining moment was really a couple of the cool dark things that we had seen, or Dark Elevation from the week before when we were there live, that got aired this week. And I loved the Danielson Hangman Page kind of stuff. But Battle of the Belts felt completely unnecessary, made no sense, and didn't have a lot of value. That being said, there's still like great wrestlers and great matches. It just didn't feel like it was a Battle of the Belts thing. So the Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy, my notes go as follows. This still makes no sense. This one really pissed me off, actually. It still doesn't make sense to have a sub. Like, they should have rescheduled. COVID is everywhere right now. Every other person I know has it. We all get it and understand. Like, there's just no way around it. Even vaccinated and boosted people are susceptible to this new variant. And if you just need to reschedule stuff, you should have plenty of other people in your stable to highlight for other things.
Exactly.
And that's what should have happened. But to like all of a sudden put somebody in that has nothing to do with anything, again, it's another thing in the same exact week that may weaken the value of the titles. But the wrestlers, they don't get an option of that. They have to wrestle when they're called to wrestle. So this isn't a reflection of them as much as it is the people that plan these things. So the Dustin Rhodes versus Sammy, it didn't make any sense. And I felt bad for them because I don't think it made sense to them either. But here we all are. So, I thought like Sammy was doing some fun showing off in the beginning. Anne's dirty looks are a highlight. That was like kind of fun. This was my least favorite outfit from Sammy at the moment that I wrote these notes. And this match feels meaningless in the big picture of things, but if it wasn't a battle of the belts, it would be excellent, actually.
She didn't like the
match.
She didn't like the neon yellow with the
okay.
With the
I didn't.
polka dots.
And I will comment on clothes.
You know what? I didn't even notice. Normally, he's always like trunks, knee pads, and boots, though, right?
That's all it was.
Like lime green leopard print.
How did I not notice that? Okay, sorry. So
I bring it up because there's somebody hired to help with these things, and yeah. And it seems shallow, but it's not. It all contributes to your visual, your subconscious reading of people.
Absolutely. That is a huge part of the show, is the visual presentation. I agree.
So I comment on those things, and maybe not other people might, but I'm still going to, because I pay attention to those things. The colors and the sensory issues that are happening affect me. Crossroads by Guevara was wow. So here I am in the middle of the match making notes thinking, wow, like this shit shouldn't have happened. It doesn't make sense, but wow, there's wow moments here. So that's good. And Sammy's showing he's strong too by picking up Dustin. Do you remember that? Fuego, what the fuck is going on? He came out of nowhere, and that was cray, the crazy table fall. The lime green started growing on me, which I made a note of as I went on. Like, it's growing on me now. I kind of like it now. I hated it at the beginning, and now here I am liking it. And these guys are selling the shit out of this nonsense that they've been thrown into. This is my notes. The plot twist, like they're like doing this plot twist, which nobody expected, like champions. I felt like they were both behaving like professionals and champions, and we knew Sammy would win, but damn, Sammy versus Daniel Garcia, I put fuck yes, I'm ready for this shit to go down. We all know how I feel about fucking Garcia, and we all know how I feel about Sammy. I want to see this shit happen. So it wasn't all bad. Was it battle of the belts and all this other stuff? No, but for what it was, if you just take the titles and all the backs shit that had happened that week, like if Cody has COVID, they should have just rescheduled. That was just stupid.
Yeah, right.
But it's like the whole Cody thing, like with Sammy, was stupid anyways, because I heard gossip that they took it from Sammy because of a lot of the gossip that was happening outside of AEW. I read it.
No.
Yes. And
you
know what?
Me.
Yes, like because of that, they felt that he didn't deserve the belt and they needed to give it to someone else. If somebody
that's just a rumor.
It's just a rumor. Well, it was in AEW news, and if you have an AEW, if that's not true, just let us know. Because that would be really fucked up. Because you know what? The last thing I want to care about is their fucking personal lives. You know what? I have to deal. I'm an advocate in my everyday life, and this is a place where I just want your character, to shine. So, anyways, that's how I felt about that match. I thought it was actually great for a lot of reasons. If you took away all the other stuff and just left it on its own merit, it was great. Starks and Seidel match, I put Seidel should be a superstar. He flips around like a taekwondo acrobat from the circus. He's got great kicks. He's much better than Starks. I don't have a bad or a good opinion about, so it's not, but I feel like Seidel like does his acrobats and kicks circles around Starks. And I thought the ending was a good setup for a Wednesday Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dante match, which I think will be really interesting because you're taking a strong man against a flyer. And I always like to see how they work those things out, you know, because it's two completely different things. But that's what's good, is you want to see how different styles can, you know, crash against each other and who's going to make it out. Britt and Riho, I put, my notes are getting tired about this rivalry. I'm really getting exhausted by it, but great wrestling, and Jamie keeps interjecting. Something's going on there. You know, there's just like more of that storyline. I like that Britt is fierce and unapologetic. I really appreciate that, and I think it's just perfect. And I put double foot stomping from Riho. Those are just the notes I made at the moment, so I don't know what was happening, but some double foot stomping from Riho. And Britt wins, good match. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like we keep seeing them against each other. It was good that there was some sort of resolution. Britt finally won. And I hope at that moment was the time we put that to bed and we can move on to other rivalries.
I'm thinking that too.
Is my Battle of the Belts notes for this week.
There you go. Well, I still think that, you know, look, you've got to write content every week, several different shows all the time. You're not going to hit a home run. We're also running into COVID issues, so you're not going to get a home run. Did they make the best decision on this? Probably not, but you know what? The matches were good, but the meanings were hollow, and that's really what it came down to. So go ahead, Tammy.
Well, the last thing I want to say is I think you're giving a little too much credit, because you're getting paid a gazillion dollars, like a good amount of money to put by these networks to put on these shows. And if you're a creative person, it really isn't that hard. I'm a creative person. I'm around a lot of other creatives. There's a lot of stories that you could do and make it like dynamic and interesting no matter what comes your way. So I think like you're thinking too small. Like if you're a professional, you're on national TV, like really it isn't as hard as you think to be like come up with these like cool creative storylines. It could be done whether you have some people out from COVID or whatever else is going on. Trust me, I would have no problem coming up with interesting storylines with all this. And I am not just like a phenomenon in the world. There's other people. If you hire good story writers, you can, whatever comes your way, you think on your feet and you come up with like cool, fun stuff. So I disagree with you. I think you're giving them too much credit and you're letting them off the hook.
To that, I want to say this. AEW, like I've said in the past, is really good with long-term storytelling. They have stuff that's planned out for months and months and months. So in order to disrupt that and change something, it has to fit the general storyline that's going to come out over the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, year, whatever it might be. However, I don't know that any of the matches that we saw at Battle of the Belts or on Rampage, for that matter, are things that matter in the long term. So yes, you do have a point. There are better ways to do these things. And I feel that way too. But also I keep trying to remind myself, like, maybe there's some higher thinking here that I'm not aware of. Maybe there's something that I'm not privy to that I just, you know, maybe there's something we don't know about. Maybe there's an extra piece to these equations that we're not aware of. And I want to give the benefit of the doubt because I love Tony Khan's booking. I love the way AEW has done things for the last 3 years. It's all been very, very good, especially by comparison when you look at other companies. If you look at the way other companies do things and it feels like it's all just slapped together bullshit and nothing really matters, there's no consequence, there's no real whatever the fucking word is for when shit's important. What without that, I think this would have been a lot worse, honestly. I don't think it was a terrible job, but
No.
but there is part of me that's like, I wish this could have been better. I honestly, I don't know how it could have been. I don't know what I would have done differently. You know what I mean? But yes, there is that element of disappointment. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate right now. Like, look, maybe they got into a weird situation where we have this plan. It's supposed to go 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, even, especially when you throw like the stuff with Lucha Bros in, where you've got this random injury. You throw things like Cody in where we don't really know that it's COVID. I mean,
No.
there's speculation that it is,
True.
but it's not
True.
confirmed. And with AEW, they're normally pretty honest. Like, yeah, so-and-so has COVID. They've tested
Yeah.
positive, whatever. They test regularly. It's not like other companies. I want to give the benefit of the doubt here. I want to say maybe this was just a bad week.
Yeah.
Because we all expect so much from these guys and girls who bring these stories together and make, they take us away from our real lives. And when reality fucking hits them in the face, we can't be too upset when they don't deliver.
True.
Well
So
said.
for any new listeners, any new watchers, anybody who's not really paying attention to AEW, I just want to say we're not shitting on the product.
Mm-mm.
We're just not super excited about what's happened in the last week. But up until then, everything was going pretty good. And I still have really high hopes for the rest of the year. I think that once we bounce back from whatever's currently happening, it's going to be all right.
Yes.
I'm hoping for better. I'm trying to mentally prepare for the worst. I hope everybody else does the same.
Absolutely. I couldn't
I
have
think
said that.
that's
Yeah, that was
great
great.
words to end on.
Absolutely.
Really.
That was perfect. And
Really.
with that note, want to thank everybody who's tuned in and listened. We've got some good things. We're actually planning some good things in the future coming around here. And keep listening, spread the word. If you're listening, please tell some friends. And we just love doing it. And we hope you enjoy it too as well. To everybody, y'all have a good week. We're looking forward to talking about next week and see how things play out and how the storylines go through. Goodbye, everybody. Good night.